Kia ora iti whānau. So I just thought I wanted to have a play with some envelopes. This was the boo-boo. So what I want to do is I opened the envelope up for a reason, because I want to sew it in here, and you'll see that as we go what I want to do with that. But if I sew it in, it's upside down. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So now that has become another page in our book. There you go. I've got a little pocket there. It will be quite difficult to get something into though. So the other option would be something like that, and I could put a fold in there so that I have got somewhere to glue, and then we've got a flip out envelope. Anyway, we'll sort that later because I'm annoyed at myself. So all I have done is I have steamed open the envelope, I put my jug on, took the lid off, and then it keeps rolling and boiling and it doesn't turn itself off, and waved my envelope over the jug so that it releases some of this adhesive. So I've done that, and then I've just put a little bit of paper in here. So this paper is so that it'll be pretty on the inside. This paper is to reinforce this fold, so that's why I've taken it down a little bit further, even though you might think I don't need to. And again, that'll become clear as we go through. So next thing I did, I just got a book page, and this, I believe, yep, is out of this guy. This is such a cool book. It's got some really cool pictures in it. Look at that. See? Look at the age on the pages. And even that fold out there. So that is from 1897, that book. And it always concerns me, these have like prices on them. This was $28, and I'm just pulling it apart. I got it in an auction, so I probably honestly only paid about $2 for it. So don't think I'm cutting up a book that I paid $28 for. Okay, so now all we need to do is we need to trim this up so that it's the right size for the envelope. So I'm just going to close the envelope up, and I'm going to trim. So I'll fast forward this. And just ink. You're not going to need to ink that side. So now what I want to do is I want to have the rest of the picture to cover this. So I need to very carefully this time, because we only want one cut line. Because we want to stick this so that it matches up perfectly there. Now we're probably going to want to cover that. Well, you can. I'm fine with it still looking like an envelope. So this bit we need to save for later because we can't glue it on yet. So what I'm going to do is, like your pamphlet stitch, three-hole stitch, I am going to sew this into here so that when you're flipping through, this will be sewn in. I will probably though just bring it out just slightly so it still looks like it's in the signature, but it's not going to interfere when we actually sew in our real signature. So I'm not going to show you how to 3-hole pamphlet stitch, because I'm absolutely certain that there's 100 videos out there on YouTube, and even the one where I'm showing you when I'm stringing beads onto my signatures, you'd be able to see how I'm going with that. So I will pop back once I have sewn that. Okay, so there you go. I've just stitched it through there, and as you can see, it's just not quite on that exact signature fold, and I am going to trim that, but those little tails, you're never going to see those. I just used paper clips just to hold it exactly where I needed to, because it's not like you can use a temporary glue or anything. And now we are going to glue the envelope back together. By the way, my glue, I honestly just about cried. It's been discontinued, so I'm going to need to find a similar alternative somehow. Fabri-Tac is very similar, but it is too expensive in New Zealand. So I'm going to have to trial and error, I think. Right. Now you could quite happily just leave that as an envelope. That's really cool how it's looks like it's invisibly sewn into the page, but I have made this part, so we may as well stick it on, and I did ink that as well. Okay, so we need to very carefully stick this on exactly where it needs to go. That's pretty good. There we go. So now we have a signature sewn into the envelope, and I pulled that a little bit tight, but what you could do is you could now just put some washi tape over it, just to help it along and reinforce it, which I will probably do. Okay, so washi tape done. Now Margaret, is it Margaret Miller? Oh my gosh, I've only just cottoned on to her, but if you haven't seen her, I'll put her name, the link to her channel below this video. She is incredible. She is so organized. It's just amazing. And I've just made a stash from a masterboard of postcard size, apparently these are called ink box size, and ATC card size. So I just want to, I've got this image that I got out of this book, another beautiful book by the way. That one is definitely worth getting, and I got it secondhand, and it is just beautiful. The Frampton Flora by Richard Maybe, and I have just pulled that out, and I just want that to be a little flap fold, but this down here is a little bit ugly, so I just thought maybe we could just stick one of these on it so that there's a little pocket there. Might have a prettier one than that. It goes a bit better. Can't use that one because the flower's going in the wrong direction. Maybe that one. I'm just going to pop a stamp on there as well from my vast collection. A ridiculously sized box that I purchased. There we go. I've got a nice little pocket, and I will put a little bit of note paper over here, I think, just so that we've got somewhere to write on that. Okay, I've changed my mind again because that's what I do a lot. And I'm going to make just a pocket because that shorthand's quite cool. So I thought, yeah, let's leave that. So I don't want the pocket too long, so probably just about there. And I've got some random text going on here, so I'm just going to pop a little sticker on there. Not that interested in what it says. Just something basic, and then we can pop really cool note paper in there. Okay, so I've just got my faux yellow tape. Now, I haven't decided yet. We'll probably do this later. I'm clearly going to need to give that a trim because it's not straight. I can see that. I just like that image just the way it is, but I thought I've been gathering some bits and pieces of ephemera. So, because this folio here is quite plain, and because I want to show you that plain is fine, because we're going to be adding ephemera. So just from my stash, I've just pulled out a few things that I want to put in this journal. So since this page is quite beige, we'll put something of colour in there. And I've got all these amazing little bits and pieces. So we'll pop that guy in there as well. I also want to, that might actually be alright the way it is. Okay, don't worry, I fixed my baby. You probably saw that and saw me doing it. No, don't do that. So I actually glued it, that sellotaped that shut, which is fine. I just peeled it off, and then because it took a tiny bit of the paper with the sellotape, I've just put glue on the sellotape, and that's perfectly fine. So there you go, we've got some ephemera in that one. So as well as that, I would probably put a little bit of writing paper or something, because that postcard, or you could write on that as well, because it is blank, but the person might just want to keep it as well. We'll put something in there, but we don't need to do that just yet. So this guy here, postcard, and then I'll probably put non-genuine ephemera bits in here as well. So put that down there, or I might move these around, spread them out a bit more throughout the journal. I just wanted to show you that when you've got bits and pieces in these pages, they start coming to life. So there you go. So now you haven't got that full blank piece, and you don't have that all the way through there, that blue part. You've got interesting bits that you can pull out and have a look at. And now she's starting to come together, one of those pages, like one of my journals would. So we would be having lots of little bits and pieces to look at, and that's only 2 folios. Okay, so hopefully that has been interesting and helpful. And it's pretty late at night here in New Zealand, so I'm sorry if my brain wasn't thinking, but it was something I wanted to do, and I know because I'm doing it in this journal I've got to film it. So forgive me if I wasn't quite as eloquent and organised as I usually am, and until next time I will see you then. Love you guys. Ka kite.